satanic ritualized murders grew in number and popularity. I remember that popular movie, and maybe you do also, Ghostbusters. It featured a scene where a woman was levitated and a demon spoke through her. The most successful of these movies was a series called Nightmare on Elm Street, featuring a child molester, Freddy Krueger, who murdered innocent children. The original version earned $24 million, and the first 3 installments brought in $103 million. And meanwhile, the church is complaining about the pastor asking for funds so that we can continue God's work. Church, let's get our heads screwed on correctly. And let's start giving to God rather than man. Well, by the time we reached the 80s, Satanism and the occult continued to grow. In 1980, Newsweek magazine reported accounts of mutilated livestock in 27 states, which were related to Satanism. The number of crimes related to satanic worship bands also increased during the decade of the 80s and 90s and on through today. Reports of ritual abuse of children continue to grow, and in 1985, after treating young patients, Dr. Gregory Simpson, a Los Angeles pediatrician, began a study on the ritual abuse of children. And here's what he had to say. He stated, "The conclusion I reached is that the satanic abuse of small children does exist, and it is something that needs to be dealt with in the medical community. Cult watchers and police agree that a large number of missing children today are victims of human sacrifice cults." Well, Satan worship-related crimes, such as that of Sean Sellers, do you remember him? Age 16, convicted in 1986 of 3 murders, including his parents. The story goes like this. The night before, Sean picked up a revolver, walked into his parents' room, and cold-bloodedly shot both of his parents in the head. Laughing as he watched the blood pour out of his mother's head, he went through his satanic rituals and called up spirits and asked them to enter his body. Another example of these satanic crimes is in a case in 1987 where 3 boys, after sacrificing a cat to Satan, turned on another boy, chanting "Sacrifice for Satan." They chased him down, beat him to death with baseball bats, and threw his body into a cistern with the dead cat. From the John Ankerberg website, an article titled "Satanism and Witchcraft, the Occult, and the West, Satanic Bible." Most of the 1.5 to 2 million children who disappear are found, but many are kidnapped by child molesters and Satanists who use them in pornographic films, occult rituals, and or snuff films. Robert Samandel, I think is his last name is pronounced, is a 20-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department and a leading authority on crime and Satanism. He is one of many who thinks there is an international network of Satanists responsible for selling drugs, child pornography, and other crimes. This article continues to state up to 50,000 children are never found and never accounted for. Children who presumably never wanted to be lost in the first place. One can only wonder what may have happened to them. We know for a fact what happened to some. Each year, between 2,500 and 5,000 unidentified children are found slain, and many are thought to be the victims of child abductors. As early as the 80s, these types of ritualistic Satan-related crimes were at an all-time high. Continuing, in a 1980 Newsweek article, "Networking to Beat the Devil," this same gentleman, at the same time, Chicago police detective Robert Simondel, felt that satanic crime would be the crime of the 90s, forming a network of over 1,000 officers and counselors to share information on occult-related crimes. As a detective, he had conducted more than 200 seminars for law enforcement professionals on how to detect occult involvement in crimes. Friends, I may be quoting from the 70s up to the 90s here, but what I'm trying to convey to you is in most cases you do not have to be spiritual to know things that comes to you when you're ministering by the Spirit. But rather by being informed, we can even see outwardly the results or even what kind of demon spirits are in operation in every city or town and even nations. So what I'm doing here is informing you so that you may pray and be watchful for these kinds of things, even within the church, schools, and particularly with your children. Now, something else we're going to see more of, we will see manifestations of psychic power increase dramatically. While psychic power is the opposite of the prophetic ministry, if you will, one of Satan's major targets in the revival of Satanism and the occult is our young people. An ex-Satanist who is now a Christian and oversees a ministry that reaches out to occultists believes that American society is submerged in the occult. His name is Jeff Harshbarger. I think that is how his last name is pronounced. Head of Refuge Ministries and author of the book Dancing with the Devil. And in fact, Jeff sent me his book in the mail, and he told the Christian Post in an interview that characteristics of occult belief are commonplace in American culture. He states our society is submerged in the occult. Harry Potter has filled the minds of our children for a decade, and vampirism meets our teens with an illusions of grandeur. Witchcraft went mainstream decades ago, and Wicca is its offspring, said Jeff Harshbarger. Christian witchcraft is on the uprise, and New Age spirituality fills the church pews. Time has come for the church to be equipped and be effective. This is why I wrote Dancing with the Devil. And it has been in the top 100 Christian books in the United Kingdom. Now, many of our young people are being enticed and lured into Satanism through drugs, occult games. I couldn't believe I saw the Ouija board just walking down the aisle looking for games during Christmas time for my sister's young daughter, or a game that the family could play. There it was. Man, there it was. And my spirit rose up. Now, I don't know about you, my friend. I did not like it one bit, and I prayed over that. So they're enticed by games, movies, and demon-inspired hard rock, black metal, you name it, music featuring songs filled with blasphemy, demons, and violence terminology. On a popular radio show in San Diego, I loved to listen to Talk Back with Bob Larson. A young Satan worshiper admitted that he was introduced to Satanism by listening to the black metal band Slayer. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. He said, and this is how young people can be so easily influenced. He said, when I was a young boy, Slayer brought Satanism into my life. It is because of their music that I worship the devil. Their lyrics introduced me to Lord Satan. They made me what I am. The words of their songs are the most important thing to me. Now think about those words and think about how, in contrast, the Word of God should be so important to you. Although Satan's major seduction and deception during this revival of the occult, has been aimed at introducing young people into the occult and Satan worship, our society has been saturated with occultic influences which open the door and lead to further involvement with the occult. Along with the strong growth of this occultic influence over the past years, has come a more widespread acceptance of the occult-related activities such as, palmistry, astrology, channeling, visualization, yes, I'll say yoga, meditation, self-hypnosis, astral projection, and other forms of psychic phenomena, all of which an individual who belongs to Christ should stay away from. Well, today, in what is undoubtedly the most bizarre WikiLeaks revelation, Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta was invited to a spirit cooking dinner by performance artist Mariana Abramovic, which included menstrual blood, semen, and breast milk, an occult ritual founded by none other than Satanist Aleister Crowley. Well, millions of Americans are actively interested in psychic phenomena, including psychic healing, remote viewing, or physical manifestations of psychic power. This increased interest in the growth of Satanism and the occult is not just a passing fad, my friend. It is all a part of Satan's diabolical plan to set the stage for the coming Antichrist. The church cannot continue to close its eyes at what is happening. Beyond this revival of the occult is an even more subtle and deceptive strategy involving the establishment of a one-world religion politically, via socialism, and the initiation of a New Age and a New Age Messiah through the over the years rapidly growing New Age movement. Well, this New Age movement covers a broad spectrum of religions and belief systems. Nevertheless, it is Satan's counterfeit religion, and it is here. And while the church has been sleeping, denying, or ignoring the reality of a devil and his demons, Satan and his army have been setting the stage for the coming of the Antichrist, with most people oblivious to the fact. Tens of millions of New Age believers are eagerly anticipating and looking for the soon appearing of the New Age Christ, or Messiah upon the earth. They believe that the world is on the threshold of a radical spiritual transformation, a global crisis. Doesn't that sound familiar? That will usher in the age of Aquarius, or the New Age. Well, that is the setup, my friend, a global crisis. New Age believers believe that after this global crisis, when the world is in chaos, its Messiah or great world teacher will come, bringing peace, unity, and prosperity, and lead man into a glorious new age with a one-world government and a one-world religion. And they believe this New Age Christ will possess unparalleled wisdom, marvelous psychic abilities, and the power of the universe will be at his command. The establishment of this new kingdom on earth under the New Age Christ is believed to be on the near horizon. Many believe that the Messiah would make his appearance in the year 2000, while others believe it may occur at any time. But there is something else on the rise, and it is Islam. Islam having its own end times view, which teaches a prophesied Redeemer of Islam who will rule before the day of judgment and will rid the world of evil, Jesus along with him. Well, that's for another program, but simultaneously, as Christians are looking for the second coming of Jesus Christ, Satan is disguising and preparing counterfeit religions and a counterfeit Christ, through whom he can work to deceive the world into worshiping him. The New Age Christ is not a small, insignificant, isolated group like those false Christ cults we have seen spring up in the past and soon disappear from sight. Over the years, it has experienced phenomenal growth and had become a worldwide network of believers estimated to be about 1/2 billion strong. From all walks of life, including teachers, office workers, famous scientists, celebrities, government officials, there are those who are leaders in medicine, education, law, and psychology. New Age believers have consisted in large corporations, universities, public schools, and even on the White House staff. And one of the reasons for its rapid growth is the fact that it is a religion that incorporates many people from all religions, such as Buddhists, Shintoists, Satanists, humanists, witches, witch doctors, Hindus, and all of